you better march the freedom highway. You can clap, come on and march each and every day. You better march the freedom highway. Oh yeah, march each and every day. Made up my mind and I won't turn around. Made up my mind and I won't turn around. You know there's just one thing that I don't understand. Why some folk think freedom is not for everyone. So you better march the freedom highway. Come on and march each and every day. Oh, march the freedom highway. We're gonna march each and every day. Yes, we want peace if it can be found. Marching freedom highway, never turning around. So we're gonna march the freedom highway. We're gonna march each and every day. We're gonna march the freedom highway. Oh yeah, we're gonna march each and every day. Made up my mind and I won't turn around. Made up my mind and I won't turn around. You know there's just one thing that I don't understand. Why some folk think freedom is not for everyone. Come on, gonna march the freedom highway. Oh yeah, we're gonna march each and every day, each and every day. March the freedom highway. Oh, march each and every day, each and every day, each and every day, each and every day, each and every day.
So we have a theme of freedom going on. I don't know if you caught on to that, but maybe it's because it's July, and we might have had our Independence Day celebration during this month. So we're talking about freedom. And it reminds me of when I was in high school, and I wanted a car. Now, I didn't want a car because of the status symbol of it. I wanted a car because it gave me freedom. And I was very fortunate. My grandparents were looking at getting a new car, so they sold me their old car, which was a 1978 Oldsmobile. Yeah, I called it the Tank. Yeah, it got like 9 miles per gallon, but it was amazing. It's a great car. And I really loved the freedom that it gave me because I was able to go see my friends. I was able to take my friends places. I was able to engage in after-school activities and get home in a timely manner so I could still do my homework. And I loved the freedom. And that's something that we talk about here is oftentimes people are looking for something out there, like a thing. I want that thing. I want that car. I want that house. I want that whatever it is. And it's really not the thing that we're actually looking for. It's kind of what's underneath the thing. So what was underneath the car for me was freedom. I wanted to be able to move around freely, easily, and effortlessly. That for me was what was underneath the car. So what are you looking for and what's underneath it? That's what we're going to look at today. We're going to look at this idea that there's a way that we can unlock inside of ourselves complete freedom and liberation in all areas of our life. Sound intriguing? And I'm going to talk about quantum physics. Because I'm a geek like that. And the cool thing that I'm going to talk about, which is one of my favorite things to talk about, is prayer. Prayer is the key. Prayer is the key. Prayer is the thing that aligns ourselves with the truth of our beingness. And we get the opportunity to practice this idea in a way that fully supports our life so that it can unlock those areas that we're stuck. And it's simple. It's actually very simple. And the beautiful thing about prayer is that once I align myself with this truth, I don't even have to do any work after I've done the prayer, because the infinite universe is the heavy lifter of all the things. It coordinates everything on my behalf, which is kind of awesome. So I want to talk a little bit more about this because we kind of have a very special day happening today. Yes, you may have noticed there's a few extra people in the house today for those of you in the house, and that's because we're going to be honoring our new practitioners. So we actually have 11 new practitioners, but we have 9 of them who are here today to be honored. Yes. And the people with the purple stoles on, those are our practitioners, and they've gone through a series of classes, a minimum of 3 years, most of them more than that, 3 to 5 years of classes, and their focus is prayer. And so that's what the conversation is about today, because what they know is something that you can utilize as well. And if it's hard for you, you can reach out, because we got plenty of practitioners who want to pray with you today. So, so the beautiful thing about prayer is in this teaching, we have a special form of prayer. It's very unique about Centers for Spiritual Living. There was our founder, Ernest Holmes, and he tuned in what he considered was like a scientific method to prayer. And it was a way of doing it where he realized worked really well. And so he taught it to other people, and this is what we teach. We teach a very special form of prayer. Now, that doesn't mean that there's a wrong way or a right way to pray. There's not. Every way that you pray is the right way to pray. I just want to put that out there. And this way, for those of you logical people, is an easy step-by-step process. So you can just kind of like do the steps, and then, ta-da, it's done. And you can just let it go. But it reminds me of this story. It's a story of a Sufi master. And the Sufi master was eating this delicious watermelon. And as he was eating the watermelon, he was spitting the seeds in his hand. And then he was looking at the seeds like there was something amazing as he was staring at them. And he had a student. And his student was like, why are you looking at your seeds? Like there's something special going on there. And he said, you know what? There is something special going on here. He said, this is my communion. I'm communing with the watermelon because when I look at the seeds, I recognize that one seed makes a whole other plant that could have 20 more watermelons. And in those watermelons are hundreds of seeds. And in each one of those seeds are another 20 more watermelons with hundreds of seeds. And each seed of that are another 20 watermelons with hundreds of seeds. And he said, and that is the same that is contained in me. And so I am communing with the watermelon, recognizing the infinite possibility that is in it and is in me. And I love that story because that's what we teach as our first step and second step. So we have a spiritual mind treatment. That's what we call prayer. That's what Ernest Holmes, our founder, called his version of prayer. He called it spiritual mind treatment. We now call it affirmative prayer. because it's very affirming and it's a type of prayer. And people are like, spiritual mind treatment, that's so weird. But I'll tell you a little bit about it. So spiritual mind treatment is, for him, it was spiritual. So we're connecting with the infinite, whatever it is for you. Mind, for him, was mind meant that the mind of God or the mind of source or the mind of the universe is everywhere present. And so I'm aligning my mind, my individual mind, with that infinite mind, which is vast and, eternal. And then treatment was like, you go to a doctor for treatment, or you can go to a, what are those chiropractors? You go to a chiropractor for alignment, right? And it's a specific kind of treatment. And so for him, it was like, oh, I'm just aligning my body, my spirit with, and I'm treating it with God. I'm just being in alignment. And I'm not doing anything. I'm not efforting something. I'm just tuning in to the truth of my being. And once I'm aligned, it's done. So that was his spiritual mind treatment. And he did it in a way that was so easy to understand, because he taught about the universe, that it's everywhere present. And now this is where quantum physics comes in. Now, the quantum field says that all things are interconnected, that there is nothing that is not connected to everything. So in the quantum universe, it's all part of the one thing. Now, we teach here in Science of Mind, or Centers for Spiritual Living, we teach that God or source, or I don't know what you might call it, nature, love, but it's everywhere. It's everywhere present. Through all time and space, there's nowhere that it's not. It is everywhere, which means if the infinite source that has all potentiality, that made that watermelon seed continue to grow and produce more seeds and more seeds and more seeds and more seeds, that infinite potentiality is in me. So if it's an aspect of the divine, it's an aspect of me. And when I remember that I align with it, it becomes a part of my experience. And sometimes that's really easy, and sometimes it's really hard. So step one, recognize that the infinite source is all there is. This is our 5 steps to our affirmative prayer. Step one, recognize God is all there is. Source is all there is. It's everywhere present. Step two, if it's everywhere present, then I'm in it. It's a part of me. It's like I'm a cell inside the body of that one. And all of my cells are made up of me. So if I'm a cell in its body, then I am made up of it. So I unify myself with it. But sometimes it's not so easy to know this. I went to Albuquerque last week, my hometown, born and raised, Albuquerque, New Mexico. And I was visiting my mom, who was just recovering from a health experience. She's now healthy, so thank you, everybody. But I was on my way there, and I went to the airport, the Seattle airport, and I went 2 hours early, because I always do, because one time I didn't, and I waited for 2 hours to get through the line, so I'm always 2 hours early. And I had bought my ticket months ago, but they never gave me a seat. So I'm like, okay, I checked in. They let me check in, and there was no seat. So I'm waiting for 2 hours, and the seat is not there. And I go up, and they say, well, we're looking at things. Oh, okay. And then the plane arrives, and all the people come off the plane, and I still have no seat. And I'm starting to get nervous. And it wasn't just nervous. I actually was starting to feel anxiety. And like I really wanted to go to New Mexico to go check out my mom. I was really concerned, and I didn't have a seat. And I started kind of like, I was just noticing, breathing heavy, all these things. I know you think I'm a minister and I'm perfect, but I get anxiety too. But you know what I did is I reached out to my prayer posse, and I said, hey guys, I'm feeling a little anxious now. I need some help. And they all prayed for me. And in that instant, I had calm come over my body. It was like the story I heard about Buddha. And Buddha was walking towards this woman, and she was in deep grief. And when he saw the woman, he just said, I know for you healing and peace. And in that instant, a wave of peace came over her. And I felt like that woman. It was just like this wave of peace came over me. Because I recognize that sometimes I can't do it on my own. I would love to just like know every single moment of the day that I'm like tuned in and I'm a part of God and the infinite creator is there. And sometimes I just can't get there by myself. I need to ask for somebody to know it on my behalf. And for some reason, something about that, asking for help and having somebody know it on my behalf changes me. That's why these practitioners are so powerful. Because it's so much easier, I don't know about you, but for me, it's so much easier to like see the peace in God and somebody else, and sometimes it is for me. And so when I can know that for that person, I automatically change what's going on in their life. And that's where, again, the quantum field comes in. Because they have this thing called, what was it called? Quantum entanglement. Quantum entanglement. It's a phenomenon in which two particles become correlated in a way that their states are connected regardless of the distance between them. Yeah. And it's really cool because they've done these studies. So this was not a study on quantum entanglement, but I'm going to say I'm having a theory that quantum entanglement is why this is working. They have these studies that they've done where people pray for somebody else on the other side of the planet, and instantly that person has a shift in their health and their well-being. They've done studies where they're like, okay, we're going to have this group of people. We're going to have a group of people that aren't prayed for. We're going to have a group of people that are prayed for. And we're going to study what happens between them. And the group of people that were prayed for had quicker recoveries, faster healing times. Everything shifted. They had a better experience all over whenever they were going through some kind of medical experience than the people who were just like there every day. And to me, I think that must be related to this quantum entanglement. You know, in the studies that they do, the quantum studies, they have these two particles, for instance, that are tied together, and then I don't know how they do this, but they have one particle in one part of the world and another particle in another part of the world, and they turn this particle, and then that particle turns the same way. They're just like, it's all connected. So can you imagine when you pray for yourself, that you affect everybody around you? And when you pray for others, you also affect them for the better. So there's 5 steps to prayer. First step, again, recognizing the infinite great creator. All that is everywhere present. All the qualities of the infinite, I don't know, joy, peace, love, all those qualities we were yelling out, right? Healing, wholeness, well-being. What is God? God is abundant. God is power. God is all of these things. It is everywhere present. And all of those things reside right here, right in this lovely little meat suit. And if all those things are in me, then maybe I should just tune into it. I recognize that that's here, present in me. The awareness of the infinite potentiality. As a matter of fact, what I love is that if God, source, spirit, is infinite, that means there's all potentials, all possibilities available, and maybe there's something available that's even beyond what my brain thinks is possible. I love it because I had this community member. His name is Bruce, and Bruce had this amazing story that he told me. So he said, you know, I asked for prayers for healing and because I've been having some health things, and you all prayed for me. And he said, it's been a great couple of months. And he said, I felt guided to go to the doctor because I was feeling a little bit of heart pain. So I went to the doctor, and the doctor took a scan of my heart, and he looked at me and he said, you should be dead. And he was like, clearly I'm not. And the doctor said, look at these pictures of your heart. You have full blockages, and yet there are arteries that are coming out of your heart that aren't supposed to be there, that are going around the blockages and reconnecting. Somehow your heart created avenues around the blockages, and you're still living. Yeah. So, I mean, if that's possible, what else is possible? What else is possible? What if we just say, you know what, universe? I don't know what's possible, but I know that there are infinite possibilities, and I'm just going to say yes. I'm going to say yes to what that healing looks like. I'm going to say yes to what freedom looks like for me. I'm going to say yes to what joyful relationship looks like for me. I'm just going to say yes to it, and then I'm going to be guided to what it is. And that's the power of prayer. So again, step one, recognizing that God's source is everywhere present, and the qualities of it are in each and every one of us because we're in it. So once I recognize that truth, that's the second step, the unification. I'm unifying with that truth. The third step is where you make an affirmation. Really easy. Because I know that the infinite is all creating, ever abundant, all possibilities, all potentialities are available in God. I recognize and know that that is available in me. And that if all possibilities and potentialities are available, there must be at least one, maybe multiple ways for me to get to this next step in my life that is better than I can imagine. And if that's better than I can imagine, I affirm and claim and know that I am guided, directed, and sustained by this source that is pulling me forward into that vision in a way that supports my joy, that supports my good, that supports my having a better life than I can imagine. And I'm willing, and I say yes to that right here and now. I claim it, I know it, I accept it, I embody it, I am it, and I just love it. Do you see how that's 1, 2, 3? We had I talked about the infinite presence. I talked about how it's in me. Then I talked about how I'm claiming it, the affirmation, as if it's happening now. And then there's this wonderful story that the Hindus have. The Hindus talk about the lotus flower, and they say that the sacred lotus flower is contained within every single human being. And the reason why the sacred lotus is contained in every single human being is because it starts in the dirt, in the muck, in the gook. And it's in there, the little seed, and it comes up through this dirt, slime, and usually it comes up through water. So it comes up through the water, and it still rises up, and then it rises above the water into the light, and it splendiferously opens. It's beautiful. And it says that each and every human has a lotus contained within them, but we need to reach for the light for us to open and bloom. And we have to transcend or rise above the earthly conditions that appear to be keeping us down, when in fact, all of those nutrients are loading this lotus flower with everything it needs in order for it to bloom. And so if we see the lotus flower within ourselves, we can recognize and know that the circumstances that are happening in our life, we can rise above it, and they are contributing to nurturing us into that higher state of being, if we're willing to see it like that. Because the lotus flower won't bloom if it's not willing to rise above it. And so contained within each human being is that possibility, is that potentiality, is that seed planted within us. And when I recognize that truth, that's when I get to the fourth stage of prayer, gratitude. Gratitude is one of the most transforming practices you can do. I have a gratitude practice with my wife. I do it every day. We go on a walk every day, and we talk about what we're grateful for. And we also talk about what we're grateful for each other. And I just read this whole article on the longevity of marriage and relationships. And they said the most important thing in a marriage for it to last a long time is appreciation from the partner to each other. And my wife and I read this article and we were like, oh, we're already doing that. Awesome. But that's what we do. It's like every day I think about all the things I'm grateful for. I think about this community. I think about the people I get to be in contact with. I think about the lovely front desk agent. When I was kind of freaking out at first, she said, you know what? It's all going to work out. And I was like, okay, it is. And I think about each and every person in my daily encounters that I'm moving through in life, sometimes just the cars and how they, they're very nice here in Washington. I'm just saying, y'all, I've been here for 5 years, so I can officially say I'm a nice Washingtonian now too. But everybody moves together. When you put your blinker on, people move away. It's different than California. See, I know some of you are in California right now and you're like, what? People do that in other states? They do here in Washington. And the other cool thing that Washingtonians do is they stop for people who are going to cross the road. My wife and I, we were going to cross the road. We're just going to stop and wait because, in California, you just don't stop for pedestrians. And so we're on the road and people are slowing down. We're like, what are they doing? Are they slowing down for us? And we make sure we're we see you. Do you really see us? I know you're slowing down to stop, but do you see me? Okay, you're waving me on. Okay, I'll go. I lived in California for 20 years, so I'm still, really? Are you that nice? And yes, Washingtonians are that nice. So thank you, everybody. I do that now, too. I actually stop for people. I'm like, okay, I'm no longer a Californian. I will stop for you. I know, I have been healed. So that's one of the great things is healing happens through prayer. Healing happens through prayer. And it happens in a way that you don't have to figure it out. God, source, spirit, whatever your word is. I know some people are really triggered by the G word. So source, spirit, universe, life itself, it already knows how to create everything. Maybe it knows how to create something for your life that is better than you can imagine. Maybe it knows how to heal that thing. Maybe it knows how to have that great relationship in your life. And maybe you just have to say, you know what? I'm going to let go of my own agenda and allow a bigger possibility into my life. And when I do that, I recognize and know that infinite possibility, infinite potentiality is my truth. And it's happening now. And then it guides me to new possibilities. I can say that when I first took foundations class, I was taking it with my former partner. And she and I were having issues. And so I prayed for a magnificent relationship. And we broke up. And then I found my wife, who I've been with for 18 years. Yeah. So just because your life is falling apart, when you start praying, maybe it's falling together. Maybe what is created is that dirt, that water, that nutrient for you to rise above in order to see the amazing experience that is even better, more possibilities than you can imagine. That's the power of prayer. That's the power of having freedom in your life. So again, you can all tap into it. Are you doing it? Have you tried? It's kind of like a muscle. It gets even better the more you do it. I set aside time every day. I have a daily prayer partner. She and I have a quick call every morning. We pray for each other, and it's magnificent. I have a couple of prayer posses that do monthly Sangha prayer groups. We have Sangha groups here. If you want to sign up for a prayer Sangha group, you can talk to the registration desk. Tell Janelle that you want to sign up for a prayer sangha group. People meet together, pray for each other. When you can't pray for yourself, you can ask for help. As a matter of fact, here at this center, we have a daily prayer line where the practitioners pick up the phone line, the messages, and they send the prayer request to a group of people to pray for you every single day. Every day you can get prayer if you're having a problem or a challenge. Every day. And then, of course, we have the practitioners who are here who have prayer circles, and they're online. They're waiting online because they want to pray with you and for you. You have the infinite potentiality right here, and it's in you, and you can use it if you choose to. So I want to encourage you to take freedom as your choice today, to choose heaven today, to choose to make your life even better than you've had it. I don't know about you, but there's so many areas in life. My life is good, but you know what? It can get better. And I love that. So I encourage you to say yes to yourself, to say yes to prayer, to do the 5 steps. Take it on, try it out. Recognize God is all there is. Unify yourself with it. Make an affirmation of knowingness. Then feel the gratitude. That's step 4, gratitude. And the last step is release. Release it. When you do your prayer, you just let it go. You let God, who knew how to create the heavens and earth, do it. You don't have to do it. Isn't that cool? It's like the best part. Yeah. So knowing that we have an amazing ceremony that's going to happen, I'm going to go ahead and complete my talk with an amazing prayer for all of us. Dun dun. Yes. And so recognizing and knowing that the infinite great creator, it created everything. All times, all places, all spaces, but especially right now it's showing up. So it can experience what life is in this moment. And it arranged all the particles, all the bees, all the trees, everything. For this very moment, it's a conspiracy for good. This conspiracy for good is happening in and through each and every person. It's happening in and through me right now. I recognize and know that the infinite creator that is all potentiality, all possibility, is also the revealer of more good. And so I choose to say yes to that more good. I choose to embody it, to embrace it, to accept it, to welcome it, to allow it to permeate every aspect of my life. As I accept greater health, and I accept greater wealth, and I accept deeper friendships, and I accept more fun. As I accept all of that for myself, I know that joy inherent in that fun, that abundance inherent in the wealth, that wholeness inherent in my health transcends everything that I am involved in, and it creates on my behalf a life that is so joyful that I can barely contain myself. As I know this truth, for me, I know this truth for each and every person here. I claim and know that the lotus flower is awakened, that condition of the humanity is just merely the nutrition for me, for we, to blossom, to grow, to bloom, to shine, to unwind in a way that is so splendiferous, that is my life now. I feel it, and I am grateful for it. I accept it, I embody it, I express it, I know it, I claim it, I see it, and I am grateful for this truth being my truth, for being our truth, and knowing that because I was here today, because something happened in me, in this prayer, in this moment, that I am a part of this transformation. that gives me more freedom and more liberation and more revelation and more inspiration in my life. Glory be, it is good, and so it is.